So, do you all well, Harold, you may remember these old timers too. You're just right. You're being kind of cool. Who was the most colorful of these prospectors that you remember the most? What are most interesting?
The most interesting thing I can remember about all of them was the fact they were clean. They were clean. When you go to their cabins, the beds were always made, and they were poor, but the beds were always made. There was always plenty of firewood in the box. The windows were always clean. They were just clean. And of all, Dorothy and I went to every miner that worked in the hills. We were there one time or another. And there was never one movement made toward her or myself by any of those men. And we were just little old kids by ourselves.
Another thing that got me among those miners, they always said grace before me.
Well, did any of them
The
ever
first time I
cook
went to one of their cabins up there, me and my brother, and to eat, and I don't know, we sat down and he asked me if I'd like to say grace. And they're miners and all, you know, and I was embarrassed. I couldn't even think of a single word to say. My brother cut in for me and went ahead and did it, but as I said, that took me completely by surprise, and I don't suppose I was more than about 8, 9 years old.
Were they of any nationality, like Italians?
Oh yes, they were all different nationalities.
Mr. Enderman was he was from Austria.
Yeah.
Mr. Enderman was German, just then I guess, or Austrian.
And then
Billy Anderson.
Mariano, that had the Inferno up there, was Italian.
Italian. Billy Anderson was Swedish, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I was a miner here until maybe 29.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of the miners that came here came from mining country, or came from mines. In other words, they didn't come out here to be miners. They were already involved in mine activity. You'd mentioned Kentucky. I know Tony Simeon, or old Tony, Big Tony, came from down around the corner of Kansas, and that was mining country, down around Frontenac or Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
And was that real common when they came here? They had been in Pennsylvania, or they had been in West Virginia?
They were pretty naive. They were pretty naive.
Okay.
They came with stars in their eyes. They were looking for gold and silver. They weren't sophisticated to recognize molybdenum. It was all this molybdenum was sitting right down the canyon, and all the guys up here were beating their brains out for gold and silver. Here's this one of the richest deposits of molybdenum in the world, right down the canyon.
Well, from that part of the country, they've been mining lead and zinc.
Remember old Tom Gill and his dad, John Oldham Gill, his dad, knew where the vein of the moly was up there and said, well, that's just old graphite. And they just throw it away, you know. I mean, you pick it up, it'll black a piece of paper, blacken your thumb, you know. And they said it was just graphite, wasn't worth a dime.
Shoe polish. Shoe polish.
Yeah, well, shoe polish. Yeah. You know, old Gill used to polish boots with it.
Did you know any of the miners that ever made any money? I mean, did anyone ever make it rich and leave, and did that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of. I went to work down at the Molly Mine shoveling muck, pushing the ore car out for $1 a day. Dad signed a waiver for me, paid us once a month, $30 a month.
Now, the men made money at Marina Valley over at Eaton, Elizabethtown. There was gold, more gold taken out of there than ever was here.
Yeah, that was the rich gold area.
So what was one of the richest mines in this area?
Black copper.
I'd say the Carabel was rich with the black copper, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't think so. Bert Pitts told me that the Carabel only made one gold brick and they went broke because he flooded them out up there.
Well, like I say, I found a record in Trinidad. They had, on one of the old banks over there back in the 30s, they paid for 3 gold bricks.
I know there was lots of the richer mines was Baldy.
Oh, well, Baldy was, yeah.
My dad told me that they used to take that gold bricks down there to go on the freight train. They had a guard with them. There used to be the head of the railroad was at Ute Park.
Yeah.
Santa Fe Railroad. We shipped cattle out of there for years. Drove cattle down there and shipped them, and that's where they hauled their gold down there and shipped it out in their guard.
Shipped it out on the railroad.
John, did they ever get that rail line further than Ute Park? Did they ever extend it by anywhere up?
The end of it, right?
That was it.
And when did it shut down? Is it still used?
No, well, no, that's all done with, that's come out of Raton,
Yeah.
come through Colfax, and come on in.
Narrow gauge.
Winnie Hamilton
Oh,
here
it was
rode
done
their
there.
old train from Raton to Ute Park.
From Ute Park to Kansas City, Missouri.
I can remember going down the Cimarron Canyon and hear the whistle of that train. You hear it for miles down there, way it would echo. I never rode the train, but
How old were you when you went to work in the mine?
when I went to work at the Molly Mine,
Right.
I was 16 years old.
So, He's gonna tell
Well, okay. She wants me to tell the story we was talking about there at supper this evening. A couple of the old miners that was around here. Jack Amos came back from World War I, had been gassed, and he was told he would have to stay outdoors. So Jack prospected everything from the Colorado line to Cuesta, all of this area up through here, and then Tom Gill used to prospect too on all of it, and so Jack and Tom and I can't think of the other fellow's name, had been over on the side of Baldy prospecting, and on Baldy, on Wheeler Peak, and when they started back